As of the 22nd of December, just 12 aid trucks had entered the governorate of Gaza in the past 2.5 months. 12. I think I'll do one more. I might do one more level, and then I might call it there. I've gone through a decent amount of topics. Oh, speaking of international shit, that's really grim. It's been a while since I talked about Gaza. And, like, Gaza as its own dedicated segment. And I feel like I should. Because I saw this report from Oxfam. I had wondered about... Look at the link. I had wondered about the kind of the state of foreign aid in Gaza. And it's not good. As of the 22nd of December, just 12 aid trucks had entered the governorate of Gaza in the past 2.5 months. 12. In 2.5 months, probably like more than 3 months now, only 2 trucks of aid, have humanitarian aid, had gotten into the Gaza Strip. And I'll read more of the Oxfam report, but you guys need to realize the implications of this. They're all dead. Like, there's not much of a population of Gaza. Like, the whole strip, the whole city has already been leveled. The population can't survive that. They couldn't have survived that. Like, there can't be more than, like... God, the deaths have to be in the neighborhood of well over 500,000 at this point, or something like that. Like, you don't just deprive somewhere like a large group of people of food and water for 2.5 months and have them be like not even fine, but like alive. You know? And I assure you, as I said in October of 2023, right after the attack happened, as I said in every segment I've done about it since then, anything that Israel said, like they were doing in Gaza, all of it was just a pretext to kill as many people as possible. This was their intent from the outset. It doesn't even matter if they only sort of dropped the mask halfway through, because this was the only thing that Israel's actions could ever have accomplished. And as we know, the intent of a system is its outcomes. And Israel, a very fascistic government that did like that has a massive pool of wealth and resources, courtesy of the United States, and has a also massive drive and hatred against ethnic Arabs and Palestinians particularly. Israel, like, is that kind of system that would just do that. That those are the systemic outcomes that you get when you get a ethno state, like ethnic supremacist nation state like Israel. And we couldn't do anything to stop them. Yeah, I mean, look, in some ways I regret not having, gone to a protest when they were still really happening. At like part of that, I feel like, I should have been out there more. But it's critical to understand that this isn't anybody in particular's like fault necessarily. Like, especially not the people whose concern would be, oh, maybe I should go to a protest for this. It's not your fault, right? This is the fault of the American government. This is the fault of Israel's government, and to a certain extent also the Israeli population for, well, being insane Hitlerites. At every turn, the American government was aware of what was happening. They had intel that we would have made us shudder on October 8th. Like the intel that the United States had as soon as like the 8th, like the day after the attack, or whatever would have like made it very clear to everybody like this is what was going to happen. And you know, recently the United States has also made it clear that like they're more concerned about people calling it a genocide than it actually being a genocide. You know, like the as I said, it's not even just in Israel, but all pretenses have dropped. And I'm dead again. Here we go. The meager 34 trucks of food and water given permission to enter the North Gaza governorate over the last 2.5 months. Okay, so it was North Gaza in particular. Deliberate delays and systematic obstructions by the Israeli military meant that just 12 managed to distribute aid to starving civilians. Starving Palestinian civilians. Sorry, it's kind of difficult for me to read and play at the same time, but I'm doing what I can. Thanks, Tripping. Love that. For 3 of these, once the food and water had been delivered to the school where people were sheltering, it was cleared and shelled within hours. So of the 12, 3 of them were just blown up. So really, it's only 9, unless they explain how like even those didn't really get where they were supposed to, which would be like beyond tragic. Oxfam and the international humanitarian agencies have been continually prevented, excuse me, from delivering life-saving aid in the North Gaza Governorate since the 6th of October, when Israel escalated its military siege of Jabalia. I believe that says. And I'm dead again. Beit Lahia and Beit Hanun bar an extremely limited amount of stock already stored there. Thousands of people are estimated to still be cut off, but with humanitarian access blocked, it's impossible to know exact numbers. At the beginning of December, humanitarian organizations operating in Gaza were receiving calls from vulnerable people trapped in homes and shelters that had completely run out of food and water. From the 6th of October, Israel's permitted just 34 UN trucks of food and water to enter the North Gaza Governorate. A convoy of 11 trucks last month was initially held up at the holding point by the Israeli military at Jabalia, where some food was taken by starving civilians. After the green light to proceed to the destination was received, the trucks were stopped further on at a military checkpoint. Soldiers forced the drivers to offload the aid in a militarized zone which desperate civilians had no access to. Great, so none of the trucks... Wait. None of the trucks have gotten there, it seems? No, okay. The following week, Israel permitted 14 more. Due to the delay in receiving the final authorization from Israeli authorities, only 3 trucks were able to enter. They carried ready-to-eat rations, so MREs, wheat flour, and water, and reached the intended destination of Mahdia al-Shawa, a school in Beit Hanun, where displaced families were sheltering. While the aid was distributed, within hours, soldiers and quadcopters fired on the school, and people were ordered to leave. The next day, the Israeli military returned and shelled the school, burning down the buildings. There's more. There's a lot more. There's so much more. I can't read all of that. I'll link it. Here. If you want to read the Oxfam report, you can do so. I'm putting the link in the stream chat. There you go. Yeah. That links to the report. If this is a segment, which I don't know if I want it to be a segment, I'll put the link in the YouTube description as well. With the absolute state of there not being any aid getting into the Gaza Strip, like, there's no way that many of them are still even alive at this point. Like, that there can't be that many of them even left. The whole situation is really grim. All because the military-industrial complex wants nothing more than to maintain and perpetuate its hegemony in the Middle East. You know, and that means supporting Israel, whatever they decide to do, and, you know, doing the classic tried and true method of suppressing ethnic minorities, or in this case, just killing them. Thanks for watching, and support the channel if you would be so kind.